Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Muslimi Meets. I'm Ashley Pearson Khan, along with my sister Idil. We are here to talk to Yasmine from Nisa Homes. I'm so excited to talk to you today. You guys are doing some amazing work. Can you tell us what Nisa Homes does?
Definitely. So we basically run and operate 10 transitional shelters for Muslim women and children that are fleeing domestic violence or experiencing homelessness, seeking refuge in Canada, basically experiencing any housing struggles. We give them a place to stay in one of our 10 locations, and the goal is to help them get back on their feet. So it's not just about giving them a shelter, but it's about helping them so that long term they can be independent, they can be self-sufficient. So it includes finding jobs, helping them find a job, helping them in terms of finding a place to stay, even helping them start a business, go back to school, whatever they need to kind of just support themselves and their children. That's kind of what we help them with, as well as like the counseling, of course. We have children's program in the homes. We do everything that we can to give them that really good fighting chance to get back on their feet. Alhamdulillah, we've been able to shelter, I would say, more than 1,500 women and children since we started in about 2015. It's a bittersweet number also because the goal is not to just shelter more, right? Like, I mean, I say Alhamdulillah, and I'm glad that, they had a resource, they came to us, we were able to help. But at the same time, it's such a high number, and that number doesn't even include all the women we've had to turn away because our homes were full. We didn't have a home in their city or whatever it may be. So it's just kind of like we're doing what we can, but there's a lot of work to be done, unfortunately.
That's amazing. I feel like we don't have a lot of that in our community. Like, we don't have that support. We don't have, the people that are in place to say it's okay that you come from a Muslim home, you come from an abusive situation, and that those two things, they do coincide, but that they shouldn't, And then just having that support system, which is so foreign for us and our communities, right? How do you make people comfortable with that? They're going to come because they're scared and they don't have a choice and they need the help.
Yeah.
But once they arrive, like, I'm sure you guys have something in place that will say it's all right to be, in this situation, and you guys help them, build back up from the ground up.
Yeah.
So how do you guys do that specifically? Like, what makes you different from maybe other women's shelters and things of that nature?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things. Obviously, in our communities, especially, we're tight-knit communities, we're small communities. Yeah. Everyone knows everyone, so we're really, really big on confidentiality.
That's right.
If before, we don't even share the addresses of our homes. Even women that are coming to our homes don't know the address until they're in our home.
Okay.
We send an Uber, and it just we'll have the address, and it kind of brings them over, right?
Okay.
So we're really, really careful about that. Our staff, they all sign confidentiality agreements. We don't have people coming in. Very, very few volunteers that come into the home, so we're very careful about that because we've also had situations where staff members know people that are coming into the home. So it is, that's a big part of the struggle is that, we don't want, like, what will people say or, what if someone finds out or anything like that. It's a safety concern, of course, because you don't know who knows who. But also it is that fear of like, okay, well, what if someone sees me? What if someone knows? And that stigma. And we'll talk about the stigma part later. But to your point around, okay, what makes us different? We really do try to make our homes feel like homes. It's not just a house, it's not a shelter. And that means understanding that everyone that comes to us is coming to us from a different background, different experiences, different cultures, different languages, different religions. Obviously, we're catering to the Muslim community. A lot of our community comes from, certain countries. So we do try to make sure our homes have, make it feel like you're still in your own home. As someone that's left an abusive situation, you've already left behind your home, your family, potentially your kids even. You don't want to feel like you have nothing. You don't want to feel like you're literally starting from scratch, right? You want to feel like, I might have left my home, but I'm still in my bigger home. I'm still in my community, right? Especially because of that stigma, feeling like sometimes they're not welcome in the community because they chose to leave. So making them know that no, you're still, you're still Muslim. You didn't do anything that was wrong. You didn't do anything that was haram. You're still part of our community. We still care. We still believe you, and we're here for you, kind of thing. So they feel that in the sisterhood that they have in the home, like. Literally, they're always helping each other out. They pray together. They have like parties together in the home. They cook together. They help each other out with the kids. So many of them end up moving out and like finding places together or working together. Or, one of them gets an interview. She's like, oh, hurry up, apply here. I'll get you an interview too. So they really do come togetger and support each other. And that sisterhood, for any of us, we need that. Like we need that village. Community, right? We need a village, especially if you're on your own, especially if you don't have family here. So if you're a convert, anything like that, you're on your own a
That's
lot of
right.
times, right?
That's
So
Right.
you need people that have, and people that understand what you've been through too.
Absolutely.
Right.
So it's we try to foster that. We also try to make sure our staff speak the different languages, Arabic and Urdu and Somali and Farsi, everything that we can. We try to make sure, obviously, the food that's available, the spices that are available, everything that works for them. The decor of the house has got that homey feel. We have the different Islamic decor up there, everything like that makes you feel like
it's a familiar place.
Exactly. I don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So
That's
it makes
beautiful.
a difference.
Wow,
Yeah.
mashallah.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Talking about stigmas, there's so much stigma around even just speaking up about it. Just like put your head down and just get through it. But it takes a lot of courage and strength for women to come forward because they might seek, help through a family member, and that family member's like, we can't help you, or don't do this, don't break up your marriage, do these things. So do you have advice for any women or even their family members who need to start talking about this and helping these people, helping these women get out of these situations?
Yeah. A lot of advice, but I won't go into the whole entire story. But honestly, just to keep it brief, I mean, if we're going to talk from, just a safety standpoint, right? At the end of the day, if this is, a family member, or a friend or anyone, just at least if you don't want to go through a divorce and all that stuff, just make sure that they're safe, right? That's more important than anything else. Someone being safe trumps everything else, even in our religion, right? Safety comes above all else.
Absolutely.
Protecting a person, protecting, themselves is the most important thing. So I would say, yes, you can investigate, you can do everything you want later on. Just make sure that they're safe first, right? Just at least let them, make sure that they're somewhere safe, they're physically and emotionally and psychologically safe, and then we can figure everything else out, right? Some of the other things that I would say is, let's go back to the Quran and Sunnah. Let's go back to what our Prophet did, our Prophet said, and look at what he did. He never hit anyone. He, whenever anyone would come to him, he would either, support them in getting a divorce, even if there was no abuse, right? Divorce is not haram.
It's just about injustice.
It's not, exactly. It's not something, obviously we're not advocating for divorce, but there are times where things don't work out, and sometimes, especially if there's abuse, it's more harmful to stay. It's more harmful for the children. It's more harmful for everyone. So let's think about that. Let's think about that next time someone does confide in us, and let's think about what would you want to do if you were in their situation, right? What would you say? How would you feel? Right. Think about yourself in their shoes, and how would you want someone to respond to you? And it's very easy to be like, oh, what did you do? What did you say? But you weren't there. You don't know. So give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they experienced something. Don't just automatically say, let's investigate. There's two sides of the story. Sure, investigate and do whatever you want on your own time. But if someone's coming to you right then and there, they just want to be validated. They want to be, they don't want to be judged. They just want to be listened to. Let them just, share their story. If you don't know what to do, and it's very valid, not all of us are experts on everything.
That's right.
Reach out to the people that do. Obviously we're at Nisa Homes. We're ready to help. We're available. If you can reach out, if you want to reach out just to get information, just to, okay, what do I do? I don't know what to do, right? And no one's asking you to solve the problem. I think that's also a big thing is that we go into problem solving mode. Okay, you need to get out. You need to do this. You need to do that. That's great. But maybe first you just need a minute to breathe, right? You need a minute to feel like, okay, let's do this, okay? So let's think about what we can do and how we can support someone. At the end of the day, it's their life, it's their choice.
It's
what
a
we're
process.
doing here. Exactly. We're just here to support them in making the decision that is right for them. And that includes, just sometimes all they need to hear is, I believe you. Or I'm here for you.
Exactly.
Right? That's all they, let's take it one day at a time. Let's take it one step at a time. Let's just, work together. I will do what I can. You just let me know how I can support you. And not telling them, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's their life at the end of the day, right?
No, absolutely.
Anyone that comes to me with any issue, I'm not going to tell them what to do, right? If you want to apply to go to university, I'm not just going to tell you go into engineering, right? It's your life. You get to decide. I'm here to support. And I think all of us can be that support person if we just take that minute to kind of put ourselves in someone else's shoes.
For sure.
How would you want someone to respond to you?
No, absolutely. And understanding that could be you tomorrow. You never know, right?
Exactly.
I think that it's important to also understand that, a lot of these people, a lot of these women who are vulnerable, they stay in these positions because they don't have a way out.
Exactly.
They stay in these positions because there's not a lot of Nisa centers, you know, and there's not a lot of Nisa homes out there.
No.
It's not a normalized thing.
No.
And I feel like if we had the way out, maybe a lot of women would go find that solution.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you guys are a way out, you know, it's giving women an option now to not be abused. Because before, it's you get married, you start getting abused, or maybe it's not even in a romantic setting. Maybe
Nowhere
you're
to
in
go.
whatever household you're in, right?
Exactly.
If your abuse is abuse, and I feel like now, if they have a place to run to, it's just a whole new avenue for them to start living a more productive and more normal lifestyle.
100%.
So I think that's amazing.
100%.
You know, I feel like when people are working on things, there's a difference between a job and a passion. And I feel like, you know, even the way you just expressed yourself and explained everything, it was in high detail, but there's a lot of emotion behind it, you know? And I feel like the women that do walk through those doors are fortunate knowing that you're in place. So I just want to say thank you for that. May Allah bless you, mashallah. What is your personal connection to Nisa Homes?
Personal connection. Honestly, it started off as you know, I wanted to help my community. Of course, that was my thing. I went into social work. I come from a completely different background, and I started volunteering and helping out. And then I kind of like decided that I want to help people that look like me and speak like me and come from my background. I know, fortunately, we live in a day and age where Islamophobia is alive and well. Hate crimes are alive and well. And the reality is, I know women like ourselves that wear the hijab, that are visibly Muslim, even accessing mainstream services, even social services where you would assume that they know it and they get it. I've worked in places where I would be asked the most insensitive, and I'd be working, right? And I can only imagine if they're asking me or treating me this way, how are they treating a client that's coming to them? Right. And, you know, things like, you know, doesn't Islam say you're allowed to hit your wife? Or the problem is Islam, you need to leave Islam, or, you know, it's your culture. Literally saying that. And imagine that you're someone that is already in such a vulnerable situation.
That itself is verbal abuse.
Defend my
Exactly.
I have to defend myself. I have to defend my religion and my choices and my culture. Yeah. These are things that I shouldn't have to do, right? And being in that situation, a lot of women are like, well, at least if I go back home, at least, you know, religion, which is important to many of us, at least that's not going to be, I'm not going to be the spokesperson for Muslim women. And I have to like obviously think about the stereotype of Muslim women being oppressed and feeling like that holds us back, right? So I saw that on the flip side, and I saw how hard it is, you know, for our communities to reach out for help. A lot of our community are newcomers. Yeah. It is, you know,
they're so vulnerable.
Exactly. They don't speak language. We had women come to us we have women come to us at Nisa Homes from other shelters where they've literally been there for weeks and not a single person spoke to them because no one spoke their language.
Yeah, there's no connection.
Like,
so they're very, very much alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's one piece of advice that you would give to women that are being abused who are maybe going to watch this? Like, what's something that you can encourage them on and say, hey, we're here for you? I think women need to hear that, and especially from somebody like you. So
I think what you just said, we're here for you. You're not alone. It's not your fault. And knowing that there are resources out there. There is help. There is someone you can reach out to. Whatever choice you want to make, whatever decision you want to make, but having someone that understands and can speak to you and can validate what you're going through, because you're not alone. Unfortunately, it happens. And you know what? The best thing we can do as a community is just work together to make sure our homes are safe, our families are safe, our communities are safe.
That's right. What you love for your sister, you should love for yourself. And what you love for yourself, you should love for your sister. 100%. And so I think that there's strength in number. Yes. And sisterhood is something that we talk about verbally, but I don't think we act upon it a lot. And so hopefully we can strengthen the sisterhood, inshallah. Lastly, I want to conclude with you telling people how they can help Nisa Homes, because there's so many people that might watch this and they want to put in the effort to come and help you guys out, and maybe they don't know how to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think number one, we are a registered charity. We are zakat eligible. We're always collecting donations. We are funded primarily through community donations, and you know, we do give our community a lot of heat for, you know, they don't do enough, but the fact that we've opened 10 homes through community donations, that does tell me a little bit that the community cares, right? Yeah. So that's obviously number one. Number two is talking about it, right? Talking about this issue, talking about it with your family, with your kids, with your, you know, with your friends. It's okay to talk about these things, to talk to our children, especially, so they know, like, especially our girls, knowing what's okay, what's not okay, and more so for our boys, and telling them how to treat others, how to, you know, how to express their own emotions, and how to, you know, be real men like the Prophet ﷺ. The talking about this issue, it's not, there's no shame and stigma in talking about it. There's shame in not talking about it and not doing what we need to do.
That's right.
So that's definitely another thing that I hope everyone can do.
Yeah.
And the third most important thing is, volunteer, reach out, help us out. We're always looking to get, support. We want to do more workshops in the community to educate and to
Yes.
talk about these issues. We need help inside our homes. We need all of that stuff. So reach out and see how you can be part of it, inshallah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sister, for giving us all that
problem.
information. Ashley, do you want to say anything? Last remarks?
I just appreciate what you guys do. You're doing an
Alhamdulillah.
amazing work, and may Allah help you continue this work and help these women who need it the most. And thank you so much for
Ameen.
joining us today,
My
getting that
pleasure.
information out there. You never know who's watching this and who it might help.
Right.
Exactly.
So, and thank you to everyone who tuned in for Muslimi Meets. We'll be back with more content, so stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum.